Good evening. This is the King of All Medium, and welcome to podcast number 25. And beautiful days they all are. This is March 15th. If you watch my podcast 24 yesterday, I thought it was March 17th for some reason. March 15th, 17th is, of course, Thursday, okay, and Wednesday. So, today I'm going to, after a few months of doing this, I started my new site after at Hippie Dave. I had for 10 years, it was taken down. I had a vision. I wanted to get six storage mediums that are pretty accessible. I mean, there's Laserdisc, whatever, Laserdisc, let you know. But I wanted to get, the primary five, also I have some DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever. And I had a vision. And today I'm going to discuss what I feel is my favorite one after at March 15th, 2021. And so the primary five audio ones, although they do have DVD audio, of course, which can store a heck of a lot more. Let me tell you why, first of all. And it is compact discs. And what I've been going through, let me tell you why I do the other four. What are the drawbacks? Now, although I'll tell you the second best one immediately, cassette tape. I'm really having a good time with cassette tape. They're very cheap. They're the only bad thing about cassette tape, it's not too easy to find a song, but my cassette tape has an automatic music sensor, but it takes a little longer. Obviously, the sound isn't as good as a compact disc, so that's its big drawback. But it is pretty good, for a tape thing. So the other three, which are vinyl, 8-track tape, and reel-to-reel, why don't I like that? Well, let's start with 8-track tape. About half the 8-track tapes I get have problems, and most of them have problems in terms of their tear, their pad is missing, so or they're destroyed. So I haven't had the time to open them up, and opening them up is a problem in itself. So I have to put in a new pad that costs money. It's a pain in the butt. Sound-wise, they're not too bad, but the problem is they don't have modern players. Now, if they came out with like a new modern player, and they came out with new modern 8-track tapes, they actually might be one of the better sources, in terms of sound-wise. But because the tapes are so old, and because the player's so old, and they don't sound that great, Some of them are okay, So they're my least favorite, I would say. Reel-to-reels are kind of fun. Sometimes the sound is actually pretty good. There are two types of reel-to-reel tapes. There's 3 3/4 and 7.5. 7.5 being better. They record at higher speed. I only have one 7.5. A Fifth Dimension is called Portrait. So the rest of them are 3 3/4. They're very hard to get. The 7.5s. They're very valuable, very expensive. I mean, my big problem with reel-to-reel tape is that they are very expensive. Okay, so I have gotten the low end 3 3/4 just to have a few, and every first Thursday of the month I will put up them, and because I don't have enough really, I don't have enough of these things. Okay, so reel-to-reel, I do enjoy it. I actually like the sounds. They have a unique kind of sound. I found that my favorite part of the reel-to-reel is the bass. They have a very living bass. I can't really turn it up too much. I live in an apartment, but they have, and also I fractured my eardrum once in an auto accident, so I get if I turn up music too much, I get my eardrum goes like a ringing tinnitus. So I'm more into the collection and having these things. But I love the reel-to-reel. The reel's moving, but problems with the reel-to-reels are many times the tape especially the recordable's usually good. The problems happen to be the tape is gets it gets wound, breaks. Sometimes I had a Bee Gees tape. I've had all kinds of problems with this one because it's so old. But most of the reel-to-reels I got pre-recorded pretty good, especially after 50 years. Most of them, 45 to 55 years old. So I just wish they could get a. I know a guy, he's telling me, oh, you get all these real, you go to a thrift shop there, people selling estates had a lot of people had a bunch of old, people who had kept on to their reel-to-reels. Now they're starting to die. Here's your chance, get your reel-to-reel. So, but there's problems. You gotta loop it up. It's a pain in the butt, kind of, That brings me to my third most favorite is vinyl. Okay, now vinyl, of course, is probably many people's favorite. Of course, now the problem with vinyl, first of all, if you want a good pressed vinyl, the new vinyls that came out, they're very expensive. I went to place Poughkeepsie, and they were like $25 to start. Okay, then you add on the tax, so you're talking about $27, about $27, say. I take 10% and subtract a little. It's only probably 6-7% up there. So, starting about 27% of $27 for a 180 gram newly pressed vinyl. Okay, so you don't want that. So what do? You go on eBay. So I just ordered more of the Monkees, and I looked at the rating, and it was a VG plus. So I said VG plus is pretty good. Get a couple of pops here, and maybe a skip, but you shouldn't get a skip on a VG plus. If the person did his due diligence, of a VG plus, there should not be a skip. So I get the more of the Monkees, and I'm putting it down. I'm very excited. It's a very good album. And skips all over the place. Piece of shit, Should have said acceptable. Many skips, The album's scratched up. Looks like the guy took his fingers and scratched the whole thing up. So more of the Monkees was bad, So I don't need this headache. I don't like this, So vinyl I love because you got the thing and you got this big record. And you look at the liner notes and it puts you really in the mood, But the problem is it doesn't keep well now. Again, techniques. An old dirty record you can wash, and a record that's not dirty but has a lot of dust on it, and static you could clean, as I demonstrated in podcast 24. But this is full of scratches. You can't fix this. This is a piece of garbage, So more of the Monkees. I guess what I had to order on compact disc. So. Now, which gets to my favorite of them all, and I used to have a lot of these too. I lost all my possessions. Compact disc. Why do I like compact disc? Now, let me tell you the bad thing about compact disc. The experience isn't too great. You put the disc in the disc tray, and you push it in, and it disappears, and music comes out. So it's almost like an MP3. Of course, it's better than an MP3 because an MP3 doesn't have the range of a compact disc. The MP3 only, because of compression, loses the lows and the highs, and the highs are the best thing. You get the cymbals and the, maybe loads the top end of the singers, and your ears probably, especially as you get older, probably aren't that good. But you do maybe lost some cymbal, I don't know, but who knows? But again, it's okay. So not only that, you get extra bonus tracks that weren't on the original vinyl. Okay. And you get the same type of liner notes, maybe extras, these reissues they have, someone who's with you writes extra stuff, goes over all the songs, gives you facts and factoids that you didn't know, and another great thing about CDs, I used to, because you never get a skip. I used to get them because I used to keep them like crap. I used to leave them out, I was lazy. Now I take them out, always put them back in their case, and I put them away almost of the time. Sometimes I have to leave them around because I need them. Like I need them for CD, the next CD Monday vote. I have 2 which are up for vote, so I don't want to put them back or lose them. But you know, so, you know, and the sound is really amazing. I mean, again, I was talking about that Jimi Hendrix South Saturn Delta. It looks like almost like it sounds so good. It's like someone said, "Hey, come in. We're going to go into the vault," and he took out a can. You know, he's never played this before, so we're gonna put this on the reel-to-reel. Just spool it up. It's really good high-end, you know, TIAC reel-to-reel, and played a pristine sound. So good. You know, obviously the best ones are probably the AADs. Analog recording, analog mastering, and digital playback. So you're getting rid of, you know, people that are getting into digital, you know, say analog, but this is pretty much analog recording and analog mastering. There's no real digital except the playback. It sounded so pure. I mean, I can't tell you the South. If you get the South Saturn Delta, it was made so good. You know, it's just like someone you went in with this guy. You say, "Listen, I got this." You put it on a reel-to-reel, and you played the tape, the original tape. It just sounded so amazing. So people put down CDs, don't know. I don't think they know what they're talking about. And you're not going to get the pops. You're not going to get the, you know, the static. It's not there. Now, do CD skip? Sure, I've had a lot of experience with CD skipping, but if you take care of them, they can last a long time. Sure, I think they know to degrade, but and I mean, I bought the ones I bought used. I have not had one problem with tapes. Yeah, you get varying qualities. Nearly all the tapes I bought, cassette tapes I bought, have been good, except for this Best of Bread. It was really old and kind of didn't have a good life to its sound. Some of the vinyls also recorded very low, so you know. So the CDs I notice have a really high, vibrant sound to them. The mix is also mixed very, you know, differently sometimes. Whereas albums, the vinyl, the mix is kind of more in the back. You know, it's not out front like these CDs. Okay, so I have told you that my favorite medium so far is I'm gonna probably have to have a second compact disc, you know, because I just keep on buying CDs. I just love them. I don't know what to do, you know. I mean, it's just a lot better, you know. Overall, I mean, again, vinyl, the experience is better. You got that thing, you drop the needle, and you know, sometimes it sounds good, but to me, the compact disc is sound, just the lack of pain in the butt. You know, that's the important thing. Okay, let's go to finds today. Let's see what we got. Start off with a cassette. Now, this is my fourth entry from this group called the Kings of Power Pop. Power Pop being like you take the Beatles, but you make it Beatle type melodies. You make it a little heavier. And it's something I definitely like. Badfinger was known for this. And the name of the group is Cheap Trick, and the pretty Robin Zander, the pretty Tom Peterson. Zander is basically the vocalist, played rhythm guitar. I don't know how good he did that. And of course, behind him going to the bathroom is Bunny Carlos, the drummer. All right, let's see what's on this. This was their third album, which contained the big track, Surrender. Okay, it leads off with Surrender, which of course is a great track, you know, the big hit. On Top of the World. California Man's a good song. High Roller. How I Use Okay. Eau Claire is a good song. It has a very unique melody to it. And then you flip it over side too. Off We Just Saying is a good song. Taking Me Back, it's a good song. On the Radio, it's a good song. Heaven Tonight's a weird song. You know, what is he say? What do they say? What is he saying? Heaven Tonight, when you kill yourself and we'll go to heaven, or you know, it's a kind of a spooky song. You know, kill yourself and we'll go to heaven, or you know, we'll go to heaven if you you know, you be together. I don't know. And finally ends with Stiff Competition, good song. I'd say 3.5 stars. Not the greatest album. Yeah, they basically said 4. Alright, so I buy this book, electronics, and learn electronics, right? So first they say buy this tool thingy, and to get all the tools to work at the book. So I get the book. It's still not done. I gotta buy something else. So I had to buy a multimeter, right? came today. Look at that, beautiful multimeter. Multimeter meaning it has different things, you know. It has a voltmeter, an ohm meter, just continuity. Don't know how the hell we use it, but hopefully the book will show me. Remember, my father tried to teach me how to test for continuity. I guess continuity to see if there's a current running or something or other running through two circuits. So it gives you a nice. So I guess you move this guy and it says 0, 0, 0. And get a little wire that connects to the multimeter. Right? Probably should turn it off. A little warning with electricity was kind of a little dangerous. Yeah, I think I'm going to need also a soldering iron. So hopefully I don't burn down the building. You know, that wouldn't be a good thing. Okay. Then 2 compact discs. I got a lot more. Okay, so this is the debut album of the Byrds, B-Y-R-D-S, group in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So is Cheap Trick, by the way. And the name of this album called Mr. Tambourine Man. Sing a song for me. I'm not busy, and ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine. I don't know. The actual, I remember when I was going to college, the actual Bob Dylan was a poem, and it was much longer. It's basically taking and smoking marijuana. That's what it's about. They do a 2-minute 29 version of it, and it opens up the album, Mr. Tambourine Man. And one thing about the Byrds, they did a lot of cover versions. I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better. I think it was actually written by Gene Clark, their best songwriter, very good song. Spanish Harlem Incident, You Won't Have to Cry. Here Without You, okay, I don't know much about that. The Bells of Rimney is a great song. I think that's another Dylan. All I Really Want to Do is Maybe Be Friends with You. Let me see if they have who wrote that. That's, oh yes they do. Nice liner. Oh yeah. See, actually the CDs actually have better liner notes too. And yeah, hopefully I Feel a Whole Lot Better. Gene Clark. Spanish Harlem Incident was actually Bob Dylan. You Won't Have to Cry was actually Gene Clark and Roger McGuinn. Here Without You. Okay, The Bells of Rimney was Idris Davies' poem and Pete Seeger. The coal mining disaster in Wells. All I Really Want to Do is Make Friends with You. That's Bob Dylan. I Knew I Didn't Want You, Gene Clark. It's No Use. And that's Gene Clark and Roger McGuinn. So they do write some of their own songs. Jackie DeShannon wrote Don't Doubt Yourself, Baby. Chimes of Freedom, Bob Dylan. And they do excellent versions. And it ends, We'll Meet Again, H. Parker, Ray Charles. Okay, there are also some bonus tracks. I have a rule, I don't listen to bonus tracks. There's a few. I'll feel they do an alternate version. I'll feel a whole lot better. They have the single version of Bob Dylan. So they released it as a single, All I Really Want to Do. So, definitely. And the Byrds, I've decided to get their first 4 albums. Second album is Turn, Turn, Turn. Fifth Dimension is their 3rd album, which contains, Fifth Dimension contains 8 Miles High, one of their most biggest hits. And the 4th album is Younger Than Yesterday. After that, they kind of weren't the same. Those first 4 albums, it seems like a lot of groups do that. I was talking about John Mellencamp. He went to this period, so like 88 or 87. We just rolled off 3 incredible albums. And I think the Byrds kind of did that too. Okay. Now, the debut or album of another group, it's also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Buffalo Springfield. And they were named because I think there was a tractor in front of their house in Los Angeles that said Buffalo Springfield. So they said, what do they call themselves? It's that trash, or steamroller or something. Okay, the first song is the famous, let's see what kind of liner notes. For what it's worth, hey, hey, what's that sound? Everybody knows what's going round. Okay, so that's obviously one of the most famous songs. Go and Say Goodbye. Okay, that was written, the first two songs were written by Stephen Stills. Second song's kind of meh. Third song also was written by Stephen Stills, and that's a very good song. I love that song. Sit Down, I Think I Love You. So whenever I meet a girl for, go on and say the third day, and she's standing up, I'm going to go, sit down, I think I love you. And she'll blow me off, as she's going to do anyway. Number 4 is a Neil Young song, but Rich Faree, later was of Poco, sings that nowadays Clancy can't even sing. So one of the interesting Neil Young, he always wrote songs in the beginning that made no sense, okay? Yeah, at this time, Neil Young really didn't find his, the great song, by the way, really wasn't, Stephen Stills was really hitting on all targets. Okay, Hot Dusty Roads, Everybody's Wrong, kind of meh. These songs playing on the Ground is Wrong. That was a Neil Young song. Okay, the other two, Hot Dusty Roads, Everybody's Wrong with Stephen Stills. The next song is a great song, Burned. That's actually on Decade, the 3-album masterpiece about Young. Do I Have to Come Right Out and Say It? It's also about Neil Young. It's kind of meh. Leave. That is by Stephen Stills. Out of My Mind, Neil Young. Pay the Price by Stephen Stills. So you could see where the problems started to arise, because you got two guys, two egos, at first Stills was kind of, the lead guy because he wrote For What It's Worth, but you can see eventually Young became the better artist, because Young is the more talented of the two, but Stephen Stills is a great musician and great songwriter in his own right, but eventually Stephen Stills had a little problem. He wanted to be the leader of the band, and so those egos. An interesting thing that happened in 1967, Neil Young left the band, so Buffalo Springfield went to play Monterey, and David Crosby from the Byrds went and played with them. So guess what happened? The Byrds fired David Crosby, and that led eventually to Crosby and Stills getting together with Graham Nash, founding Crosby, Stills and Nash, and then eventually Sometimes Young. Okay, so Buffalo Springfield and debut album. Okay. Now, there we go. Oh, no, my own string. The last thing. Okay. Now, reel-to-reels are very expensive. So, sometimes I gotta kind of go beneath my taste, Like, I got one with Barbara Streisand, and I don't really like her too much, And this one I had to really this is Barry Manilow, Try to Get That Feeling. Very schmaltzy, and normally I would not buy this as a CD, but it was a reel-to-reel, and I gave this a listen to, and the tape was very good, the quality was very good, and what's good about it, the instrumentation is amazing, I mean, if you get this for a few bucks, it's very good. Okay, so take a look at it. You've got schmaltzy. Yeah. Okay, so listen to the whole thing. Okay, so let's see what's on this. Side 1, New York City Rhythm. Trying to Get the Feeling. As sure as I'm standing here, a nice boy like me, lay me down. There's nothing really big on the first side. Typical schmaltzy Manilow, no real hits, okay? Side 2, Bandstand Boogie. Okay, that's the first hit. That was the Bandstand, bandstand, yep, we're going hopping today. She's a Star, again, another pretty meh album, you know, except I write the songs. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. Okay, now a lot of people don't know this, but Barry Manilow did not write that song, okay? It was actually written by a guy named Bruce Johnston, who played a lot with the Beach Boys, especially when Mr. Brian Wilson kind of didn't like to go out on tour. So Bruce Johnston wrote, I write the songs, but this is one amazing track. I mean, one amazing track. I mean, it is a great track. Whether you're disgusted by Barry Manilow, Schmaltz, I mean, the orchestration and the arrangement are just truly incredible. I mean, you know, one of the great tracks there is. This song is, you know, worth to be heard on any kind of medium album. It's just incredibly put together. It's, you know, so I mean, you might say, you know, but it's Barry Manilow, but he does do a good job. And the album closes, Why Don't We Live Together? You're Leaving Too Much, and Beautiful Music. Kind of a weak album. I would probably give it 2 stars. I mean, to tell you the truth, there's nothing much on this. Only two good songs. One good song, one great song. Bandstand Boogie, and I Write the Songs. You know what's a funny thing? He doesn't write many songs. I mean, he was a co-writer in Bandstand Boogie, and he didn't write I Write the Songs, and the songs he wrote weren't that good, you know. And actually, a lot of the songs he did not write, so he was not a big songwriter, as a lot of people. So the name of the album is Barry Manilow, Trying to Get the Feeling. Not that good of an album. I would give it 2 stars. The only reason I Write the Songs is a great song. It is an amazing song. I mean, I listened to it on my reel to reel. I was just shocked how good it was. And again, I'm not a Barry Manilow fan. Okay, well, today is March 15th, the Ides of March 2021. I thank you for joining, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And tomorrow, by the way, is singles night. So we're going to have 3 brand new singles that I picked up in Poughkeepsie. And Barry Manilow will not be one of them, okay? And by the way, this weekend, the Beatles return to vinyl on Sunday, and we'll have another group debut album from 1969, and they had a #1 in 1973 and 74. So we'll see you real soon.